Thanks for joining us on today's Phone.com webinar. And today we'll be talking about call forwarding and how to use queues to start forwarding your calls. My name is Derek Artes, and I'll be your presenter today, and I'm currently a customer service representative at Phone.com. And just two quick things before we get started. If you guys do have any questions, definitely enter them in the GoToWebinar Questions tab. I'm going to try something a little differently this time in that instead of holding everything until the end, I'm going to break up the presentation into some logical chunks. So what that means is we can have some nice pauses and we can hopefully get every question answered before we have to end for today. And today's challenge level is definitely suitable for intermediates. I do expect you to know a little bit about call handling rules and setting up greetings. If not, that's totally cool, as I will go into that as needed in detail. All right, so let's get it kicked off just for a quick overview of what we'll be learning today. We're first going to cover what are queues so you can know exactly what the feature's about that we offer. I'll then go into some common business use cases for queues for how I've personally seen them used during my time here at Phone.com. And next we'll go into more of the practical aspects for actually creating a queue on your account and then forwarding your calls to your queue. And then we'll finish up with more advanced setups. So we'll do advanced queue setups with schedules and also some alternative queue setups if it just doesn't happen to be working out for you. So jumping on into what are queues is a really cool feature that we offer. They allow you to route incoming calls to a specific group of phone numbers or extension devices. You set it once on one screen and you can pretty much use the queue wherever you are on your account, so it's very handy and efficient. There's some benefits to using a queue. Queue members are rung in order from first to last, and the queue will also remember the last person that was called and it'll dial the next person in order. So this is really cool if you want to make sure you're divvying up the amount of calls that your sales team or customer service team is getting. Queues are perfect for that application. And also a final benefit is that while your callers are in the queue, they'll get some pleasing hold music to wait to, and they can also hear an announcement greeting until their call is answered. So just some common use case scenarios that I've encountered during my time at Phone.com. I have seen call centers use queues, and this is usually a call center with multiple agents, and they're all using our communicator soft phone to receive calls on their computer. I have also seen sales teams for a company. They usually have a bunch of people out in the field. They're all using cell phones, and they can use the iPhone app to receive calls and also call people back as well. And lastly, I've also seen customer service teams in an office setting, and they're all using our physical desk phones with queues. So let's jump on in now to the more practical aspects of making the queue on your account. I've broken this down into really 3 simple and easy steps. The first is to add a greeting for your queue's announcement. This is totally optional. You don't need to do it, but I'll definitely show you how to do that. The second is to add your queue and then configure the settings on your account. And then the third and final step is to forward your Phone.com number to your queue. So let's jump on in now into the interface. Real quick, before I get started, does anybody have a question about the more of the practical aspects of queues or how they're actually utilized before I head on into this? And we will start with step 1 of making a queue, which is to make your announcement greeting. If you've never made a greeting before, this is a great time to learn. Otherwise, this might be a bit of a refresher for all of you. So to start, we'll go to Configure at the top of our page, and we'll select Add a Greeting on the far right. And first step is to give your greeting a unique nickname in case you want to edit it in the future. I'm just going to keep this simple here and call ours queue greeting. Restricted to, definitely leave that to all when you're making a queue greeting. And you'll want to choose no for allowed for use as hold music. If this is your first time on the greeting page, I'll go over the basics here. Upload new file. You can pretty much just upload an audio file that you've recorded on your computer. You just do choose file, and you can choose your file listed, and then you'll choose upload. The second option is record from phone. If you select the click to record a greeting button, it brings up a dialog box here, and you can actually enter a cell phone or landline number and push call. And once that calls you, it'll prompt you to record a greeting, and then it'll save on your account. And then the last method is text to greeting, which is the one I'll be using for this example. Really simple. All you do is you type in a message and a computer automated voice will read off exactly what you've typed in. We've got a whole lot of voice selections here. I tend to stick in the professional category. Usually Allison or Callie is a good choice, or any of the clear voices. So let me type up a quick message for our queue. Thanks for calling Phonetronics. Your call will be answered by the next available representative. Okay, so we got our message. I will choose Allison.
Hi, my name is Allison.
I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but if you push preview, it's going to read off the entire message that you typed with the voice that you selected. So it's super handy to make sure everything's sounding okay. Once that greeting is made, you can then select Save Greeting, and that will save it out. And it automatically takes you to the Manage Greetings page. If you want to get here in the future to edit your greeting, you can do so by going to Configure and then selecting Manage Greetings. And from here, you can do the play icon to directly play the message that you just created, just to make sure it sounds okay. You can also edit the settings directly with the Edit button, or you can press the trash can icon to delete it. Okay, so that was step one, which is making your greeting. The second step is to actually add the queue to your account and start to configure the menu options, or sorry, the settings. So to do that, we'll go to Configure, and we'll choose Add a Queue under the queue settings. And we'll give this queue, let's call this our sales queue. So give it a name in case you need to edit in the future. The announcement is what you'll choose for the greeting that we just made. So we'll choose queue greeting. And again, you can preview it here if you'd like.
Thanks for calling Phonetronics. Your call will be answered by the next available representative.
And then the next step in the process is to set your hold music. And we got some great standard music genre selections, and you can also upgrade to premium hold music, which is 99 cents per month. Or you can also upload your own hold music, which is probably another topic in itself, but do know that it's possible, and I can show you later on if you'd like. And for this one, let's choose something soothing. Piano solos is always a good choice. Next, we have maximum hold time. This is the max amount of hold time that a caller will wait in the queue, and after that hold time expires, it's going to follow the next rule in your call forwarding rules. This is totally up to you. I usually see people do 2 to 5 minutes. Seems to be a good amount of time, but it might be different depending on your situation. I'll choose 5 minutes here. And caller ID to show members, you can either do the caller's ID or the called number. I'm going to choose called number just because my sales team is out in the sales field, and they're using their cell phones for their personal business line as well. So it's really handy for them to see the phone.com number coming up on their phone so they can immediately know it's a business call. It's an easy way to identify. So we now get to the members of this queue. This is the meat of the whole queue process. This is where you'll either add a 10-digit cell phone number, or you can also add a extension number, which is attached to an IP phone, an adapter, a communicator, or even a third-party soft phone that you might be using. I'm going to keep this real simple. I'm going to do just 2 quick cell phone numbers here. So you do your first member in the white box, and then you can choose add another member. And you can type that one in. Actually, let me do three quick cell phones. Okay, so your members are established. You know exactly who you're going to ring. On the right here, you can choose how long you want to ring each member for. 5 seconds is probably a little not too much. I usually do 20 seconds. Seems to be a good middle ground between the options there. So just to give you an idea of how queues work, when a caller first gets to the queue, it's going to ring the first person. It'll ring them for 20 seconds. And then it's going to ring the third person for 20 seconds. And then it'll ring the third person for 20 seconds. If none of them pick up, it's going to circle all the way back around. It's going to start with the first person, on and on. And it'll just continue in this fashion until it reaches the max hold time of 5 minutes, and then it'll do whatever you tell it to do next. One thing to note is that if you do make any changes on the queue, the updates can take up to 5 minutes to reflect. So if you change it and do some test calls, just give it some time to kick into the system. Okay, so let's save out this queue that we've created and move on to step 3, which is forwarding your number to your queue. This process might differ a little bit depending on your setup. Some people might be forwarding to their queue from their phone tree menu, or you can forward to it from an extension. In my particular example, I'm going to forward to it directly from a number. So to do this, you'll go to Configure, and you'll select Manage Numbers. And I have an 800 number here. I'm going to consider that my business line. So I'm going to choose the edit box for that one. And then I will choose Edit on Number Action. We'll just wait for that to load. Call handling rules page is where we are now. If you're not familiar with this, please take some time to get used to it. It definitely has a diverse amount of functionality going on and a lot of options. We'll keep ours simple just to show you the very basic queue setup and how that would work. So to forward to your queue, you change Select Operation to Go to Queue, and then you'll choose your queue in the drop-down box on the right. And so all this is telling the system is go to the queue when the caller first calls, do the max hold time of 5 minutes, but then it's not telling it what to do after. And I see a lot of people get lost on this spot. They wonder, okay, how do you tell the queue to go to voicemail after the queue expires? And that's where you have to tell it here. So to do that, you'll choose Add Next Action, and then you can change this select operation to leave voicemail, and you can choose the extension you want voicemails left on. An alternative would also be I've seen people direct callers back to the menu, where they could play hold music, or they could forward the call to a direct number, but I'll just leave it as leave voicemail to keep it simple. So the queue is going to ring the specified party members that we set earlier for 5 minutes. And then if nobody picks up the call after 5 minutes, it's going to leave a voicemail on extension 503. And we can set that extension up to get email notifications, text message notifications, so you can call those callers back immediately. All right, so when that is all finalized, you can save rule settings here. And then save changes again. So that was a basic 3-step process. Let's see if we have any questions about that. So next up, we have our advanced setup, which includes queues with schedules. The scenario I'm using for this is a business with 2 sales teams. They both work 2 separate shifts during the day. One works 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and the other works 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. So what I'm wanting to do is configure my call handling rules so that during 8 to 12, it goes to the first set of people, and during 12 to 5, it goes to my second queue. The requirements for this is 2 queues, which I've already made. They are Sales Team A and Sales Team B. And then I also have 2 schedules created, which are one that applies for 8 to 12 Monday through Friday, and then another which applies from 12 to 5 Monday through Friday. So let's jump on into the interface now, and I can show you how these look. So to manage your existing queues, I just want to show you what I've done to give you an idea. You go to Configure, and then you select Manage Queues. And you can see here I have Sales Team A with 2 members, and then Sales Team B with 2 members. If you go into the Edit Settings, just to show you real quick, it looks pretty similar to what we've already done. I have 2 unique cell phone numbers that I'm forwarding to for 20 seconds. And that's the exact same thing for Sales Team B, but it's another set of cell phone numbers. So next, I also set 2 schedules, and I definitely like to show you guys this as well. If you want more of an in-depth step-by-step on how to make a schedule, certainly let me know and I can show you, but I'll keep this brief for the sake of time. So for schedules, we'll go to Configure, and we'll choose Manage Schedules. And you can see here I have 8 to 12 Monday through Friday and 12 to 5 Monday through Friday. If I select edit for my 8 to 12, what I've done to keep this really simple is choose the weekday weekend option for the schedule type, and then only check the box for weekday and set that from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. In the gray area you can see here, it means that's the only time that this schedule is going to be applied for. And then let me go back and show you the other schedule. So the 12 to 5 Monday through Friday, the exact same thing. I'm doing a weekday weekend schedule type, and then for weekday I'm checking that box and I'm doing 12 to 5, which will only apply to those hours. Okay, so let's apply the scenario more practically now that you have all the understanding the basics. We'll do this again from the number level. Again, this could be done from a menu or an extension, but we'll just keep it simple here. So we'll start by going to configure, and we'll choose manage numbers. And wait for that to load up. Let's do the 858 number local. We'll choose edit for that to get into the number settings. And then we'll choose edit again on number action to get to the call handling rules. And we'll wait for that to load up. Okay, so to activate a schedule, you change all calls to receive during. And then you choose your schedule here. The first one we want to apply is 8 to 12 Monday through Friday. And during 8 to 12 Monday through Friday, we want to go to our sales team AQ. And if nobody answers during Monday through Friday, 8 to 12, we want to send callers directly to voicemail. So we'll choose add next action, and we'll choose leave voicemail. So that's 8 to 12. To apply the second schedule, we'll make another add new rule here. We'll change this one, the all calls section, to receive during again. And we'll choose 12 to 5 Monday through Friday. And then we can change this select operation to go to queue. And this queue will be sales team B. And again, if nobody answers during 12 to 5 for the sales team B queue, we're going to do another action to send callers to voicemail. And the last and final step of this process is to add a final rule. And this one's going to stay as all calls. And what this means is that any hours outside of your scheduled hours, this is what the system's going to do. And in this case, I'm going to keep it really simple. I just want everything to go directly to voicemail. So I'm going to leave this up for a moment. If you guys want to take a screenshot just to get an idea of how schedules work and how they can be applied in sequence. It's a top-down fashion, so if you read it logically, it's going to check for 8 to 12. If that's false, then it's going to check for 12 to 5. And if that's false, then it finally goes to the all rules section. So I'm going to push on to our last topic of the day, which is alternative queue setups. For whatever reason, forwarding to cell phones can get rather complicated. You know, it's provider specific. Cell phone providers have their own set ring times when they go to voicemail. For whatever reason, sometimes queues just don't work out for businesses. When this happens, what we recommend customers doing is to create a call forwarding setup that mimics what a queue does. So essentially, you're going to create a set of forwarding rules that kind of emulate the forwarding fashion that a queue follows. So to do this, we'll walk you through it, but you'll need to play your recorded greeting first that you would have played in your queue. And then you're going to need to make a series of forward call actions for each queue member. And then lastly, you'll need a final action after all of your queue members have been dialed. Well, let's jump into this and actually show you it as it's easier to see. So I'm going to delete all of this so we can start from scratch here. Okay, so someone dials your queue. First thing that happens is that a recording is played. So we'll do play recording for the first action, and we'll choose our queue greeting. And after your queue greeting is played, the first member of your queue is dialed. So we'll select add next action, and we'll choose forward call. And we're going to enter our first cell phone number here. And we chose last time to have queue members dialed for 20 seconds, so we're going to keep that the exact same. And you can choose your hold music here to be similar in your queue as well. So once it dials the first member for 20 seconds, we'll then make another action. And we'll change this one to forward call. And this will be the second person in our queue that we want dialed. And again, 20 seconds, we'll change the ringtone to the piano solos. And so you can, what I think you can kind of see the pattern here. If you only have 2 queue members, but you want a hold time of, let's say, about a minute, what you'll do is you'll just make another forward call rule. And you can paste the first number here. So it's circling back to the first person for another 20 seconds. And then we'll make a final forward call rule, which flows to the second person for the final 20 seconds. So we got a total of 90 seconds of hold time, as you can see, from the first forward call rule to the last one. And it's going to call people in sequence. And this is exactly what a queue does. So if you ever have trouble with the queue, just go ahead and set this up on your account. And the last and final step is once the final person is rung, you just need a final action. So we'll change select operation to leave voicemail. And we can choose our voicemail extension here. So that's it. Let me see if I can get a good perspective of this. Okay, if anybody wants to take a picture of this, you're more than welcome to. This is what's considered a mock queue. If you do have trouble reaching out, if you do have trouble with your queue and you reach out to us, this is probably what we'll have you create, where you can create it yourself. All right, so that is all I had for today. Thank you so much for joining us. If you guys do have any further questions that I don't answer today, or maybe it's a little unrelated to the topic, we have plenty of support channels you can reach out to. Got our 24/7 phone support, email, and chat support. And we also have our Twitter and Facebook team standing by